What's up? Okay, so I'm gonna definitely post this on my podcast, but I'm making this to put in my G4 community because I need to tell this message to all my members, all my ladies over in my G4 community that look to me for advice. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you some advice. So today we're gonna talk about I'm 16 weeks out. If you haven't, let me go back. If you haven't got on my G4 community, if you haven't heard about it, God, goals, gains, and growth. If you want to learn about nutrition, training, mindset, metabolism, hormones, if you want a community of women that's going to help you and inspire you and encourage you every day to do what you want to do, change your ways, change your life, you need to come over here to my community, and I'm going to link it below. So today, I'm 16 weeks out from, and I'm going to post this in my diary because I'm documenting. This is the main reason that I'm doing this video, is to document all my feels as a fit model or just to the stage. I'm going to compete in the fit model division this year, 2025. For the first time, this is our first season having the fit model division, and I am documenting it because I like to document. So I'm going to put this video in my diary. I'm really excited. So 16 weeks out. And yesterday, so my check-ins are on Monday. Yesterday, we cut down food from 450 grams of carbs to 400 grams of carbs. And that's a big drop. You know, most of the times we don't drop that quickly. The goal here, you know, even just being in, this is the first season for the Fit Model, we're going to try and come in and get the look that we think that the judges want a little early so that we can have time before my first show to adjust if it's not what we feel, right? We don't know. That's the biggest thing. And even if it's your first time as a bikini competitor, like, you don't know what your body's gonna look like, definitely compared to what the judges are looking for, until you're pretty close to the show, right? So that's our plan, is we're gonna get ready a little early. And then if we need to make adjustments, we have time to make adjustments. So hitting that is, so ultimately 2 weeks ago, so like not last week, but the week before. So 2 weeks, in the last 2 weeks, I've dropped 500 calories, 100 grams of carbs. So I went from 500 grams of carbs to 400 grams of carbs in 2 weeks. And we increased my movement. We didn't increase my movement till yesterday, went from 15 minutes of steady state 5 days a week to 25 minutes of steady state for 5 days a week. That was yesterday, so I really didn't even start until today. So that was not a factor in the story. So the story I'm about to tell you. But today's lift was heavy. With everything, it was just hard. Like my strength. So strength is, and I want you to write this down. Strength is the amount of energy that your body has available and the amount of muscle mass that you have. That is what strength is. So when your cycle, girls, even when you're ovulating, but when your energy out for whatever reason, whether it be you're doing more, you're on vacation, you're going hiking, whatever you're doing more, your energy out is more, or your energy coming in is less, is why I'm tired. Actually, mine's a mix, but I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But either way, even just brain fog like I'm having right now. Oh, what I was gonna say is that deficit. So no matter where you build, like my metabolism, I'm metabolize a lot of food, right? I'm holding steady at 500. Was really at 550 grams of carbs and maintaining my weight. That's where I like to live, right? That's when I feel good. That's when my hormones are good. That's when my metabolism is good. That's when my lifts are good, energy good, focus is good, sleep is good. Everything is good when I'm eating that, when I'm metabolizing that. But it's the same exact science that is applied when I drop my carbs and increase my food or increase my movement. That applies to you, who is, let's say, dropping your food from 1900 to 1800 or 1700 or whatever it is, right? It's the same thing. Like, so people are always like, it's a lot easier. It's not easier. It ain't easier at all. It's the same feeling, except I just am eating a little bit more, right? But as far as a deficit goes, when your body sees nothing but a deficit, it don't matter how much you metabolize. It sees energy out, energy in, or energy using and energy coming in. And so, what I was saying earlier, strength. See, brain fog. The strength. So when your energy available is low, then your strength is low. So energy available can be lower in your during your cycle, because your body is using energy to cycle, right? And or your energy available is because the food is not coming in, right? And that's not energy. That energy is no longer available, which is my case. Then where are you going to get energy from, right? So your expectations have to match as far as energy. And it's not calories. Don't think about it as calories burned. It's energy used versus energy coming in. And so I say that because even like all of the things that I've been doing, mental energy, I did a podcast on this. Mental energy and physical energy at the end of the day come from the same place. So my mental energy, I'm not gonna lie, when I wake up at 6:15, my mind does not shut off until I literally lights out at 10:30 at night. Just that's the season that I'm in right now as far as growing like my G4 community. It's like content just, and I'm not at all. You'll never hear me complain about anything. Not my training, not my food, not my what I do for a living ever, because I love what I do. But the point of me telling you this is the amount of energy that my mind is taking, learning so much new things. Like that is never, people don't think about that. People don't think about how much energy it takes for you to sit here and learn something new on a computer. You don't have to get up and go running to burn calories. You're sitting here burning calories, just thinking and trying to figure out these spreadsheets, trying to figure out these documents and all this stuff on the phone and blah, 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 all the things, right? You're still that's burning calories if you want to look at it like that. So today's lift, that not only, I've been sharing my diary over there, and I've been talking about just my sleep for the last, literally since it's January 28th, since mid-December. Hasn't been where I wanted. I like my sleep at 7 hours or more. Like that's my sweet spot for everything part of life, right? And I've been literally averaging like 5.5, 6 hours. And I know that that's not optimal. And I also know that, my personal plan was to, just because of where I am in business and in life, and now blending prep, I was going to start being really like hyper focused on sleep at 15 weeks out, 14, and then by 12 weeks, just be back to normal, right? And just from today, that kind of moved it up a little bit. Like I'm gonna start focusing on it now, just a little bit more, right? And just start to build better boundaries around how many even documents and the things that I'm putting in my G4 community, because all of it is already created. Like I've been creating documents and worksheets for mental health and for training, and I've been doing all this for 10 years. So I'm just at this point making it better, putting it into a place where it's organized, but it just making it better, right? So I'm just not creating anything new necessarily, but creating these documents for my G4 communities, the free community and my membership, which the Grace and Grit membership, you should go join it. It's $40 a month. You can learn a lot of things. Training, you have free training, nutrition, how to calculate your calories, macros, all the things. Okay, back to focus. So the mental energy that I'm given, and then again blending prep, sleep has been less. Sleep, and even has the quality of sleep hasn't, my quality of sleep has not been as good as I would like it to be. Just because your brain my brain at least is constantly going. It's very seldom that my brain just chills, right? And again, when I want to make it chill, I can make it chill. But I've given myself this time to, and again, I'm moving it forward. I'm moving it. So my time was again 14 weeks that I'm going to just pretty much I don't want to say pound everything, but I'm going to just give 120% to G4 before I start pulling back to just conserve energy, right? Because ultimately, compartmentalizing. So I talk about this in a podcast about your different pots, your entities of life. And you have all your entities of life, and through seasons, you have to pull energy because you only have so much, right? I only have so much energy. I'm only one person. And a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I had those two of me. Well, there's not, and there's never going to be. So if you don't figure out how to make another person of you, and so that just comes down to getting organized, making good notes. So even for me, I have an assistant, and I can't offload anything that's on my plate until it's organized. So even that's taking some of the energy, right? Like being it just organizing a little bit at a time, with the ultimate goal of passing it off to her. But I can't, because then my expectations would be misaligned if I don't give her clear direction, right? So kind of a little bit all over. So we're going back to training, because that's what we're going to talk about today. And so today, sleep last night, again, didn't get more than 7 hours. It's okay. But I did not think that I would have a hit in energy or strength or anything. I really just didn't think. I didn't think it at all. And, prep brain, and I don't say that because I don't believe that you have prep brain. I just believe that you just don't focus or you're too tired to focus. And that, because prep brain doesn't give you a solution. Like there's no action that I can change that clearly, right? So I don't ever say that. I don't, but maybe it's the same thing if that's what you call it. So today, anyway, I was completely ready. Actually, first, I guess if I'm thinking back, the first time was I never sleep through my alarm, ever. And I didn't sleep through it. I actually took a screenshot of it. So when I went to go look at my pictures, so I must have hit it, but I didn't get up. I got up. So I got up at 6:25, so 6:15, which isn't not bad at all. I'm not really on a schedule. It's just my schedule, But that was my first sign of, now looking back in hindsight, maybe I'm more tired than I thought, So do my breakfast, come in here, I'm in a good place mentally, physically. I feel rested. And again, I'll never say I'm tired, because if you say it, then you're going to be it even more. So I'm not yawning or anything. I'm not tired, really. So go in and do my warm up, my stretch, my morning routine, all the things. And then I go, and after my warm up, my first lift of this lift is Bulgarian split squats, rack assisted. And so I'm looking at my notes right here. And so every week I write my notes, I write my training. And then after the set is finished, I write what I want to do next week based on this week, just based on what I just did, right? So last week I did 75 to 80 pounds, 85, and I hit 80 pounds the last two sets for 10 reps, and my rep range is 8 to 10. So last week I put 85 for 3 sets. I put 80 for 3 sets. All the way up, all the way down. Lock in is what I put. And I did that. And I even went up to 85. I had that much energy that everything was executed right. Everything felt good. My mind felt good. My body felt good. My hips felt good. Everything felt good. 80 for 10, 80 for 10, perfect tempo, all the things. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go up to 85. And I did. And I hit 9. And so that's great. That's energy. That's good. So that was a great set. And so the next lift was Paul's sumo deadlifts. And Paul's on the way up, right? And then, so this is my second sign that I might be getting a little tired here, when I didn't hit my pause on the way up. So went all the way up that first rep. And that just, for me, is a sign, hey, you're not focused. Not right now, at least, right? So I finished that, I corrected it. I was locked in enough to continue, right? If I was not, so going all the way down to my glute press downs, later in my lift, last second to last, the cable moved this way. I can't even really describe it. It moved this way. And for me, it should not have moved that way. That means I'm completely not focused at all. So that I cut the set at that point. Whereas in the sumo deadlifts, I was completely tight. I was ready to go. I was just doing a regular sumo deadlift. But so I just kept going. I just kept pause. I paused on the next rep, right? But that was the second note that I was, again, tired. And then, so Smith machine, single leg hip thrust. So I dropped the weight from 55 pounds to 35 pounds because I've already got these signs that I'm getting tired, but I'm not ever gonna stop, right? That's not gonna happen. So I dropped down 35 pounds and per side, so that's 20 pounds less, 40 pounds less than last week. And I'm just gonna increase the volume, increase the tempo, and I did. But my lower back started so I'm completely engaged. And even in the assisted Bulgarians and the sumos, everything felt good. Everything was tight. My core was tight, everything. But in the hip thrust, and I video everything so I can watch it back, and everything was tight. But if your lower back is hurting in a lift, then something is not tight enough. And so I talk to my girls about this all the time. We do core work every day. But if they make a note that their lower back was hurting in their lifts, then I'm going to look back at their lifts and I'm going to just ask about the previous ones, right? Previous lifts. And there will be times that you are locked in and you are completely, whether you wear a belt or not, it don't matter. And your core is tired. Your body is tired, right? And so that was what was happening with the Smith machine hip thrust. And what I personally do is I will pause and do one rep at a time to hit the volume that I want to hit. And that's saying that it's not pain, right? This is just, I know that my body's just tired. And so I'm gonna slow down, but I'm not gonna pull back 100. I'm not gonna pull back, I'm just gonna pull back a little bit, right? If it was a pain thing, if it was not just a sore and a tired thing, then I would cut set, obviously, right? I'm not gonna work through pain, I'm not stupid. So being able to notice that difference too, what is pain and what is just hard and ultimately sore, I guess would be a way to, if you want to think of it like that, what is the difference between pain and being sore? Being able to decipher the difference and know when it's painful, cut set. When you're just sore, let's just pull back a little bit. Whether that means taking one rep at a time. And the only thing that I ever have to, with clients, be aware of is when we do pull back and we do start hitting one rep at a time, you're not coming untight during that, right? So if I'm doing single leg hip thrust, I'm staying tight the whole time. I'm just taking more time at the bottom, staying tight, right? That's where people go wrong and get injured, is when they take it one rep at a time, so they hit the volume, but they're not keeping themselves tight the whole time. So their core is not tight. That's where the lower back really, really starts to get not even sore, painful. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. This was the telltale sign for me. I was like, all right, you are way tired. And even though, in this lift, so this is my fourth exercise, dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts. Fourth exercise in this lift, everything is heavy, right? Everything is progressively getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So that on top of the amount of food that I'm not eating anymore, and the sleep and the energy of not available, all of that is playing a part. Hopefully this is all making sense to you. So my fourth lift, dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts, I had 60s for 15. 3 weeks ago, I was pulling 80s with this at 4 sets of 13, 14, 15. And so that's 80s. And I pulled 60 today, and I slowed down at 10. And so when I started slowing down, and though, the tempo is hard, it's a 3-second eccentric, it is hard, but I still should have been able to do that. I still should have been able to hit at least at least 13, if not 15. My goal was 15 in my head, but I was like, at 10, I was like, girl, one more. And I just one more it all the way to 12. But that was when I was like, all right. Because I shouldn't, like on paper. So I guess that's the biggest thing, takeaway. And I do need to do a whole podcast on this. The way that you optimize, like maximize your energy and your efforts, and you don't allow yourself to pull, like, just stay out of your own way, is you run off of data, which is this, right? And you blend your feelings and how you feel in the moment, whether you're in prep or not. This can happen anytime, right? Something happens in life. There's a lot of my girls right now are going through life, and like hard life stuff. That is the same thing as a prep. Like, it's just the energy out, right? Mental and all. So when you realize that, when you stop making excuses for, all the feelings, and there's either you feel good or you don't feel good, and there's reasons for both. Then you can blend what should be happening, with what is actually happening. And does that make sense? So your training, my training is based off of data 90% of the time, and 10% of the time, or I guess it'd probably be like 95% of the time is based off of data, and 5% of the time is based off of feels. And so when I base it off of feels, what I do personally is, so like, this is a good example. So 60s, so my rep range was 12 to 15, and the first one I pulled 60s for 12, slowed down at 10, and then the second one I pulled 10. So I didn't even hit the rep range. I should have dropped the weight then, but I didn't. Not for any reason. I just thought I was maybe at least hit 12, but I didn't. And for me to stop before the bottom of the rep range, for me, that's, again, red flag. Like, you are tired. Red flag. Because I don't ever, like, I have boundaries around training, a lot of boundaries around training. That's what I need to do the podcast on. And I'll never hit the bottom of a rep range unless it's literally like, I had 0 reps in reserve to hit the bottom, right? I'll hit one above it, but if I can't get that one more, then again, I'm at 0 reps in reserve. So for me to not even hit the bottom of it, shit, I was like, what's wrong with you, girl? You're real tired. Okay, so to blend the data and the feels is what I do, is I'll do a third set, which I did, which was 8. So that's going to give me the volume that I want. That's going to take a little bit more time, obviously. It's going to take a little bit more energy, but for me to help, just because again, you're trying to balance mental health and physical health, right? I'm not trying to get injured, but I'm also trying to not be upset about anything, And so all you can do is do something that's going to help you feel better mentally and not get hurt, injured physically. So that was the fourth, and then the last set was glute press downs. Like I said earlier, I did these are on cables, and the way that even when you're, like, if you were to go do them on cables, you got to be very controlled as you allow your knee to go up and then press down, or the cable's going to move. And for me, I don't want the cable to move. That is a lack of tightness somewhere. It could be lack of tightness in my core, lack of tightness, where my knee is driving, where my foot is driving down. Like, either way, it don't matter. If it's untight, you're untight, right? So, and then that's where, again, injury happens. So I hit 13, and I remember, like, very vividly, my brain was like, went not where it just went away. I don't know where it went to. It just went away, and it was probably jumped over to business or whatever it is. Either way, it don't matter. But I cut the set. So that, and then the calf raises. So an hour and 54 minutes today, whereas last week it was an hour and 32 minutes. So 22 minutes longer. Yeah, I had a couple extra sets because of what I was just talking about. But it really just being, I can hit PRs week in prep. A lot of the training all the time is mental. And like I said earlier, if you say you're tired, then you're gonna be real tired. If you say you're gonna stop earlier. So you can talk yourself into doing anything that you want to do. And when it comes to training, again, whether you're in prep or not in prep, don't talk yourself into just doing one more rep, right? One more. Just try it. Just try it. Just try it. And let your body tell you before it tells, and I'm saying like, let your body tell you when to stop. But let it know your body enough to know when, because you don't want it to tell you to stop when you're injured, right? Today it told me to slow down. I guess that would be a good way to say it. Let your body tell you when to slow down. Don't let your mind tell you when to slow down, because your mind's going to stop you from ever achieving anything or achieving your truest potential. But if you can blend your mind and your body, and you can, then you're going to just change your life. And so today my body told me to slow down, and so that's what I did. And so it would tell you to slow down before you want it to tell you to slow down. You don't want it to tell you to stop, because that would be where you would be messing up, right? That'd be where you would be injured if it stops you. And so all this to come around and say that energy available is it really important to understand, so that you can not get injured, so that you can not beat yourself up, so that you can talk yourself into doing one more rep or one more thing, or the thing that you need to do to achieve the outcome that you want. If you understand energy available, and you can start manipulating all the variables. So even like just the variables that I'm manipulating, I'm going to be off of work at 7 o'clock. Be off of work. I'm not going to be at this computer at 7 o'clock. I'm going to be inside, because that's when I start my nighttime routine instead of 9 o'clock like it's been, right? So my sleep changing. Probably going to space my food out a little bit more, and I'm going to do, obviously, in my diary over in my G4 community. This is something that I'll be putting, like whatever I choose to do this week to help just better energy and better strength. I'll put it over there. And then understanding that this is something that whether you're in prep or not, this can completely happen if all the variables are not aligning, right? If your food is all over the place, if your sleep is all over the place, just match your expectations with the reality, and then also the data of the reality, the data. Don't expect yourself to be energized if you ain't been sleeping. Don't expect yourself to be energized if you're eating, 14, 15, 1600 calories a day. Don't expect that of yourself. And I'm thinking of all these bikini girls. I know that that's what they'll be eating, and that is all mental. Like, you can tell yourself you're energized, and I want you to, because until you get past that, but then after your show, I want you to tell yourself you're going to do a reverse, and you're going to do it right, so that you don't have to feel, not even so you don't have to feel that way, so you don't have to do that to your body. Like, and again, my body is going through the same thing as that girl that's eating 1,200 calories right now. Just on a different spectrum, but it's still the same, right? So I'm not saying, I guess I'm just saying it's the same thing. And, I'm still eating, like, I don't know, 3,000 calories or something like that. But even like in my last prep, I never got below 1,900, and never got below 1,900, and my cycle did something funny. It didn't skip. I didn't lose it, but it did something funny. It just was off. And for me, that was when I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna keep doing this, That's my body. I'm not gonna continue to push it when its last sign is, hey, this ain't good, right? Like, as a woman, that's the last thing your body's gonna do is pull your cycle from you when it is unhealthy. Don't let that be your red flag to stop doing whatever you're doing. So I hope that all this made sense, and I hope it just inspired you to, one, know that everyone has these days, and kind of give you a little direction on how I approach these days to continue making progress physically and mentally and emotionally, right? And what I do to just change and try and prevent it from happening in the future. And yeah, so I'm excited. 16 weeks out, and This is the first day. Even in my old other preps, I never felt this good, but we never cut this much food either. So this is what it should be. But I'm gonna focus on sleep, focus on quality of sleep, and just keep conserving energy, not giving, not talking to people that I don't need to talk to. Like, go watch it or listen to that podcast, Compartmentalizing Emotions, like number 6 or something like that. That way, it's going to help you a lot with what I'm talking about within this podcast with the different entities of life. And I'll do another podcast on that. But okay, so if you haven't joined my G4 space, you're probably going to want to go join it. I'm actually about to upload a Q guide probably tomorrow. That's like, and there's workouts every month this whole year. How to track your macros, or how to calculate your calories, how to calculate your macros. Like, so much information over there, you're gonna miss it. Don't miss it. Okay, so y'all have a great day. Let's get some sleep and let's train hard tomorrow. Let's keep going.